Okay, so what I was trying to explain to you is, first of all, I don't have the video up and I don't have your images up, but your model should be modeled on the origin. And the origin is this dark, the intersection of these two dark lines. That's where the X and the Z meet. This is the front view right here. So your pivot point is where your mirror is going to occur from. So to move this, you have to press the D or the insert key to toggle it so that you can actually move this point over. And that's where, when you mirror this, it's going to occur, the actual mirror of the geometry will occur from this point. So now the other issue that could be happening is the history here. So generally speaking, I tell students to delete, under edit, delete by type history, and then see if it works. And so that's not happening either. It could also be that all of your points are not lined up with the origin. So if I take these vertex points, and it's kind of hard to see, in order to get them, because they're all over the place, if I select the edge and then holding down the command key, and then I go to vertices, it'll switch it from edges to vertices. I'm holding down command and right clicking, and then it brings up what's called a marking menu, and then I can switch it over to the vertices. And then I can take my move tool, and if I double click over here on the move tool, I can then go down here to where it's the move snap settings and uncheck retain component spacing. This will allow me to move holding down the X, because I'm going to use the grid snap, right? This is X. And it pulls all those points and aligns them up with the origin so that they line up with that point that is where you need to mirror. Go back to object mode here. And that way when you mirror this, it'll be on the origin. So let's see if that works. If not, it could be that we have these values in the channel box. But making sure all of that is there. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening here. It could be a setting in Maya 2018. It should be mirroring properly. So let's try one more time. Let's try modify, freeze, transformations, and edit, delete by type history, and then mesh mirror, and it still isn't. We're going, well, it could also be that we're going the wrong direction. That's what that problem was. So it was going from the negative. We need to go to positive side, because you modeled on the negative side and you need to go to positive. So that solves that problem. Let me frame this in here. So let me reopen your scene then. And that's how I troubleshoot things. I have a list that I've developed over the years of things that it could possibly be. Let me back to so starting back from the beginning, now that we know that it has to go to the positive side, if I were to mirror this just the way it is, to positive, we get a problem because of the other issues that are occurring. So let's delete history first, and then try mirroring. And that still gives it a problem because of the fact of the origin, you know. So if we move this to the other side and then hit the D key or the insert key on the keyboard just to move the pivot. Oops. And you can hold down the X key to snap it too. That'll help snap it to the grid. I'm not sure where my grid is here. It's hidden. But the same thing, it should be right at, the pivot should be at the origin when you're modeling. So if you don't have your drawing lined up, then it makes it difficult to get it there, right? So now, if I just did those two things and then I mirror, we now mirror, but we have this gap because of the fact that your points aren't lined up, right? So I'm going to undo that. And again, I'm going to take the edge and just double click on one of these and it'll go all the way around, right? And then converting this over by holding down the command and then right click, two vertices, take your move tool, double click on the tool to bring open the settings, and under move snap settings, make sure retain component spacing is unchecked. Otherwise, when I move this, they're going to stay in the same place, right? So I come into the top view so I can see what I'm doing. We uncheck this, and now when I hold down the X key and snap, they snap to the grid and line up with that center point. Now, if you think that's too far, because it looks like it was kind of wide, I might move this back and then just go back to object mode and move this over, but then again I have to push this pivot back here by holding down the D or pressing the D key so that I can line it up with the grid and making sure that those points have not crossed over. It's really important for mirroring. So now if I go in and I do mirror, I still have a gap because I'm not straight on that line. Right. With the points, I suppose, because I moved it. So I'll go back in here now. Once again, now that they're all lined up though, I can just select the vertex points here. Hold down my X key with the move tool to keep that snap grid on to perfectly line that up. And then go back to object mode and mirror. And now we have no gap in between. And that solves that problem. Okay.